Thanks, Payal Kakria ji. She is an educationist, motivational speaker, and social activist. She is a transformational speaker and a consciousness mentor from Sydney, Australia. She is also an international best-selling author and has co-authored a book titled Intuitive Knowing Her Truth. Payal is a mother of 3 beautiful children and has been living in Australia for the past 20 years. She has gone through many challenges in her life, but has been successful in overcoming them by trusting the divine guidance within. She wants to inspire others to lead a more conscious life. After she experienced self-realization, her sole purpose is to help humanity reach a higher level of consciousness. She reaches out to people with her podcast Soul Sessions with Payal. She is also an SALDP graduate, which we keep on talking, and she has done in a record time. And she is, for her tremendous qualities and her commitment, she is an advisor to Chief Mentor Hitesh Chandel of the Defined Values Consultants, organization behind PYP, that is Project YugParivartan. And I think Payal will handle it beautifully. Thanks, Payal ji.
Thank you so much, Arvind Tiwari ji. And I'm very, very grateful for being invited on such a wonderful and honored platform. So thank you so much, Hitesh, for trusting me once again with whatever I have to say. I think it's an honor to get a stage where you can share your thoughts and your opinions openly without being judged. So I really consider this as a great honor. Before we start today's session, I would like everyone to take a moment to what has happened in Afghanistan. We continue to keep them in our thoughts and prayers in these tragic times that they are facing. I think it's a terrific reminder for all of us to reconsider that it's time for humanity to come forward and support each other, love each other, and not tear each other down. Let's all take a moment and send them lots of prayers and healing, especially to all the women suffering in Afghanistan, and also to women all across the world that are going through something that we have no idea about. Moving forward today on the topic of gender equality. Again, thank you very much, Hitesh, for trusting in me. It's an absolute honor to be invited here for today's discussion about a much needed topic, gender equality. I think it's a topic that needs a lot of brainstorming. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for logging in today. And I would just like to say that this is not a speech. I would like this to be an interactive session. So please feel free to engage, share your thoughts, and leave comments in the comment section below. I would also love to know where you're logging in from. And towards the end of the session, I would love to answer any questions if time permits. So how I would like to talk about gender equality. First of all, there's a lot of misconception about gender equality. I think people have their own myths about gender equality. When they hear the word gender equality, I don't know what comes to their mind, right? So whoever is logging in, if you've not heard about it or if you're not sure about it, I just want to say that a country's progress is determined by how equally they are distributing wealth and opportunities that they have between men and women in terms of health, education, economics, and politics. I would also like to shine some light by saying that gender equality is when people of all genders have equal rights, responsibilities, and opportunities. The whole world is affected by gender inequality. So there's an urgent need to look into this matter. So we need to stop looking at people as men and women and start looking at each other more as human beings, someone that we can call equal. The moment we accept that this is possible, practical, and crucial, things will start to shift. We as a country and a society are the sum total of the choices that we have made in the past, and we always have a choice to reassess and redirect the trajectory that we are moving on at any point of time that we realize we are not heading in the right direction. We need to see things in a larger picture, and it's high time that we rise above race, class, and gender. So for decades, women have been heavily criticized and have felt unsupported and not good enough to fit into the so-called male-dominated society. In the coming years, gender equality will depend on how we facilitate and divide the labor at home and at the workplace. The progress of our society will be determined on how quickly women enter into the positions of economic and political leadership. There are countries that have managed to close the gaps, and the countries that have managed to close the gaps have had some progressive policies in the world when it comes to parental leave and childcare allowance. Women with greater freedom in the workplace and in the society. There is still a long way to go before women have an equal footing with men in the world. Gender equality prevents violence and is essential for economic prosperity. Societies that value women and men as equal are safer and healthier. Gender equality is a human right, and everyone benefits from them. We have to understand that gender equality will not happen overnight for any country, state, or family. So measurable actions have to be taken leading to that way. It is a call to action as we all are looking to live in a safe society that has equal access to power, resources, and opportunities. Everyone needs to be treated with dignity, respect, and fairness. It turns out, according to most studies, I'm not getting into the statistics here, we can get all the stats from Google. We can get those stats and see how we are progressing in which country. But the countries that are most gender equal are also the countries that score highest on the happiness scale. Research has shown that companies that are gender equal have a happier workforce environment, there's a lower job turnover, they have easier time recruiting, they have higher rates of retention, higher job satisfaction, and high productivity levels. We need to realize how much gender equality is already costing us. It's time we give thought to it. And if we think about it, it has cost us a lot. Extremely expensive. It's not only costing us our mental health, but also our resources. Our resources are either being underutilized or overutilized just because of gender inequality. As Osho once said, courage is a love affair with the unknown. If we wait for a perfect time, policy, people, and resources, we end up waiting forever. So someone has to take up that charge, someone has to come forward, and someone has to speak up with the issues as it needs urgent attention. We need to address the inequality that is floating around in the society, and someone needs to take up ownership of the things because they have a potential of being better. So I want to make a point very clear over here. At this moment and point of time, whenever the topic of gender equality comes up, it is assumed that we are only talking about women being served in an unequal manner. What I personally believe is that justice should be served to everyone. And no doubt that women have always suffered more in society and have been treated unequal, which results in the stagnation of our social progress. But at the same time, men are also abused mentally and emotionally, where they have lost their dignity and have been shattered because the laws have been misused. I am bringing up this point that gender equality is not a voice in favor just for women. It is about treating everyone equal on all fronts. When we talk about gender equality, we talk about laws that should be made for keeping everyone in mind. Though being a woman myself, I naturally connect with the pain of women. But I'm also a daughter to a father, a sister to a brother, a wife to a husband, and a mother to a son. So I deeply connect with the pain of men at the same time. A gender that is not supposed to cry, not allowed to share their feelings and sufferings, are also having a damaging effect. So when we talk about laws, we talk about equality, and as a constitution says, that no one should be discriminated upon caste, creed, religion, and gender. That brings us to the point that all men, women, boys, and girls should be treated equally on all fronts. According to the data that we can see, and also in my personal experience, young men these days have changed enormously, where they understand the importance of a fulfilled life. They also understand the importance of women and are ready to have a terrific relationship with their children. The percentage of men that I'm talking about right now is extremely low. So we need an efficient method to reach out to more men who want or are open to be supportive of their wives and daughters to work and be committed to work exactly as they are. Young men these days understand that they have to be involved fathers. Men need to be more educated about the fact that more equally the couple participates in a marriage, the more happier the marriage turns out to be. Data from psychologists and sociologists are quite impressive here. There is data to prove that it is a win-win situation for everyone if men are engaged with work and family, if they share housework and childcare. The children perform better at school. Their children have low absenteeism levels. The kids have higher rates of academic achievements. The kids are less likely to be diagnosed with ADHD. They are less likely to see a psychiatrist and less likely to be put on any medication. Therefore, when men share household and childcare, their children are happier and healthier. And all men, consciously or unconsciously, want this for their children. Just by lending a supportive hand to the women in their life and supporting them physically, they are giving them space to breathe and also making them loved and supported, which in turn makes their wives, mothers, sisters, and the women in their life happier and healthier too. And that results in women being less likely to be diagnosed with depression, more likely to exercise and look after themselves, which in turn makes men less likely to lean towards alcohol abuse, less likely to go to the ER, and more likely to go for routine checkups to their GP, less likely to see a therapist, and the men are more physically and mentally active and happy. So the whole process ends up in the result of a happy, fulfilled, nourished, uplifted, and inspired ongoing circle. So the more this awareness reaches men, the more we end up as a happy, healthy society. Gender equality is therefore in the highest interest of all men, women, children, cities, countries, and the world. I would like to re-emphasize that it is a win-win situation for everyone in every way. We get rid of unhealthy and codependent attachments. And before I end the session, I would like to say that we cannot empower women without the support of men and boys in our society. I want all the men to come forward in helping build a happier and a healthier society. And as Socrates said, an unexamined life is not worth living. I would like each and every one of you who's watching today to re-examine the choices that we have made and reassess our value system. Thank you very much for listening to me, for what I had to say. I would love to answer any questions that you wonderful people might have in mind.
Great session, Payal. And this revalidated my experience that I am having since last 1.5 years while sitting at home. My work is also online now, as well as kids are also online. And my wife is working in medical profession, so she has to travel outside home to take care of the office work. So this has given me an exposure towards homemaking. So homemaking no more is just a domain of women. Men and women, when we call them as partners or life partners, they have to partner in each and every aspect of human life. So somewhere upbringing the kids, giving them food, at least heating that up during the lunch, and other support that is required for them to attend online classes is something which I have shared with my wife since last several months. So this has really given that, as you rightly said, that unexamined life is not worth living. So that had given me another perspective and a dimension to examine my life towards those roles which I was never thinking of before the lockdown. So overall, when we talk about gender equality, as you have rightly said, it's not only about women empowerment, it's also about living a harmonious life between men and women and contributing in building the smallest unit of society, which we call as family. So somewhere, of course, the biggest challenges also come at the family levels, when there is no harmony, when the men and women are in different directions, when they do not follow the same value system or way of life. Such disharmony actually results into addition of disharmony in the overall society. So somewhere at each family unit level, we have to revisit whether this family as an institution is correctly drafted and is correctly created for being a part of the overall society. It should not be seen in just isolation. It is part of society. So somewhere this gender equality goal, of course, few people have different views on gender equality as such.
Yes.
That if God has made us different, if men and women are made different in composition, then definitely there will be some differences. And I also truly appreciate that if the creator has made this difference, yes, there is a difference. But that difference doesn't make it somebody being more superior than the other.
Correct.
That's where the gender equality makes more sense, because even though by creation we are different, we have equal participation in creating family units, creating societies, organizations, countries, and the overall world. It's
Hitesh,
all
look, what I think is that the divine has created us different for a reason. And again, the balance can only come in the ecosystem when both the genders are equally participating. Look, right now, everything is in an imbalance because the masculine and the feminine energies are not working in a balanced way. So awareness is lacking. It's not that men don't want to support women. I think they don't know the right way to support women. That's what I feel. Today's generation are very open-minded. They understand what is the importance, but sometimes they don't know what is the right way to support the other gender, and it's either ways. Sometimes women don't know how to support men. Maybe in their minds and in their hearts, they want to support women, but there's the right way to tackle everything. So when we help women, when men help women, women help men, it automatically, like I said, creates a very beautiful circle, which in turns, gives us results that we have not even expected. And right now, everything is out of balance. So gender equality, like I said, yes, women need love, women need support as a woman. I understand that. But we cannot move forward without the help and support of men in our lives.
Great.
I
So
think
you have added one very good aspect to it, that it's not only about intent. Even if the intent is there, there may be a lack of skill or ignorance about
correct.
The way in which men can help their better halves. So that's
right.
also something which creates a need for creating an awareness program for males, how they can help
and
women.
for females as well. And for females as well.
Yes, of course. When we talk about equality, it has to be from all sides.
Correct.
And it should not only be restricted to males and females. We keep talking about the third gender these days. So even they should also be given equal place in the society, because they are also created by the same creator and they are part of human species. We cannot just keep them outside the scope of gender equality. So somewhere
that's correct, Hitesh. We need to stop looking people gender biasedly. This is a woman, this is a man. We need to look at each other as humans and at souls at a deeper level. We are just souls carrying a different body. But at a soul level, we all are same and equal. Some need a little bit more preparation, a little bit more support than the others. And people who have worked on themselves, who have raised their consciousness, who are lifting, who are trying to lift others, who have lifted themselves, I know we are in the minority, but again, if we can lend a hand, if we can lend support in any way, all the people who have raised their consciousness and understand the importance should come forward. It's high time we come forward together as a team and lift everyone who needs our hand. So the more, the more love and support we lend out in the universe, the more quickly we will be in a better place to live in. And that's what we are trying to do, create a better world for our coming generations, right? So we as leaders, we have to be an example. Men, women, doesn't matter. We have to stop looking at each other as men and women. Yes, at some level, yes, we are created in a different way by the divine, and we should accept it. Equality doesn't mean that they are equal. No, men have their own strengths and women have their own strengths. The way men can think, women can't think. And the way women can think, men can't think.
Yes.
And it's not only about thinking, it's also about operating. It's also about, expressing yourself. And the world needs both the aspects, the masculine and the feminine, as I said. That is how we are going to complete, in the right way. So we have to come together at a conscious level, at a collective conscious level.
Yes, and that's exactly is the reason why in our design of the systems for the New World Order, we consciously take care of this balanced mix of men and women, masculine and feminine energies. If you see the board of director, as I mentioned in the chat box also, board of directors of defined values consultants has 50% of women. And if we talk about an advisory board, we have 100% of the women on the advisory board of defined values consultants. And almost 40% of the shareholders out of the 10 shareholders that we have in defined values, 40% are women. So we consciously take care of that. If we talk about platforms also, and if we talk about self-actualized SALDP program enrollment also, we see a lot of women participating into development of their self-actualization potential as well as their leadership positioning. So this shows a good trend that is being set up by the organizations associated with Project YugParivartan. And I hope that in the New World Order, women will have equal participation in creation of the system and its sustenance. That's the way of sustaining this planet towards a just, equitable, and a balanced society.